Alright, hey guys, today we're going to do Twixtor in After Effects. And I'm just going to show you how to make some really nice Twixtor without any warping or anything like that. And it's a really cool effect and it looks really nice in any AMVs or anything like that. So that's what we're going to be making today. And let's jump straight into it. So some things I wanted to note when you're using Twixtor is your footage needs to have like some certain requirements, or just there are some restrictions on the footage you can use in Twixtor. And the first thing is the quality of your footage should be pretty high when using Twixtor. You can't have bad quality footage. The second thing is when you're using Twixtor, just make sure there's a strong contrast between your foreground and background. So for example, let's say my character in my footage is wearing a blue shirt. If he's standing behind a blue wall of the same color, it'll be really hard for Twixtor to work. So that's just something to keep in mind while finding footage for Twixtor. And the final thing I wanted to say is characters with long hair or that are blowing in the wind or anything like that can also be more difficult to apply Twixtor to because it'll warp a bit more. Not impossible, but it'll just be more difficult. So now that you have that knowledge, let's jump into the tutorial. We're going to make a new composition and just make sure you leave a little bit of extra time because your footage will be getting longer. So over here I have the Spirited Away trailer, so we're just going to use that. Pull that into our composition and we'll just find some footage that we can use. So I'm just going to go through quickly and find some footage we can apply Twixtor to. That's pretty good. Okay, right here. So we have our character, and she has a strong contrast to the background, and we should be able to get some nice results here. So we found our footage, and now we've cut it out. So to cut out footage, just hit Ctrl-Shift-D to split your layer, or hit your Alt and then your square brackets to cut your layer. And once you have your footage cut out, pull your time indicator right to the beginning, then click on your footage and hit your left square bracket. And that will pull your footage to your time indicator. So once we have that, we're going to right click, pre-compose, and the only thing you need to click is move all attributes into the new composition. That's the only one you want to have selected. Hit OK. And then locate Twixtor from your effects and presets. We're going to use Twixtor Pro and drop it in. So after we have that, we're going to change our frame rate. So when you're using anime footage, the only frame rates, or basically the only frame rates you need to use, are 12 or 7.5. So we're going to start off with 12, and if 12 doesn't work out, we'll switch to 7.5. Next, change your warping to forward and your speed to either 15 or 10. So let's just start with 15 for now. Okay, something I forgot to mention, which is pretty important when using Twixtor, is right around when I was telling you to switch your frame rate to 12 and your speed to 15 and your warping to forward, go down into your main BG layer settings, open that up, and change your BG sensitivity to 100%. And what this actually does is it reduces the warp in your footage. So I forgot to mention this, but make sure this is set to 100, and that'll make it look even better. So continue back to the tutorial, and and have fun. And we're good. So after that, we're going to preview through. We're going to see if 12 is a good frame rate or if we need to switch to 7.5. And what we need to do now is look through our footage, and of course it's going to warp because there's always going to be warp, but we need to find sections in the footage where there's barely any warp or no warp at all, and we're going to cut those out and use those as the footage later on. So right now we see her hair is warping here, so we can't use that. But then after her hair warp goes away, we had a little section there without any warp. Then we have a little more warp here and here, so we can't use that. And then over here, okay. So from what I just saw when I previewed through, okay, wait. Let me just shut the volume off. So after I previewed through, I think I found around 2 pieces of useful Twixtor that we can use. So the first one was right here, right before the finger warps away. So you see her finger and underneath her neck warps, so we're going to cut before that, right around here. Control-Shift-D to split your layer, and then right after the hair warped, here to right before this starts to disappear. So right here is okay. Okay. So from the footage that we had, we found 2 sections. So we found this beginning section, and then we found this small little section here. And even then, we cut that. Okay. So you might be wondering, hey, that footage is only like 1/4 of a second. How are we going to use that for Twixtor? Good question, guys. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to change our time. So as soon as we change our time, so this is really, we can actually go all the way down to 7. We'll need to relocate our footage. So pull this out. Remember those same spots from before, so we said right after this hair went away, cut it there, and then, oh, went too far. To here. Here we go. So when you're using Twixtor, especially on anime clips, what you're doing is you're finding a small action and you're slowing it down a lot to make it look cool. So right now we have her head slowly lifting. And then later on we have, just wait. We'll even then a bit at the end. Alright, so even now, I'd say we could slow this footage down even more. So I'm actually going to go all the way down to maybe 3. I'm going to pull out this footage all the way. I'm going to locate those same spots from before. I'm sorry it's a bit repetitive, but we're almost done. Alright, from here. Alright, there we go. Let me preview through one more time. Alright, that looks good. So, right now I haven't moved the footage because if I were to drag this, the whole timeline would get messed up. So, what you have to do is right click, pre-compose one more time. This time, click adjust composition to the time span of selected layers. And do the same thing here. This is after you're done with your footage. Pre-compose. Now I'm going to pull my footage right up to here. And we're done. We have our Twixtor footage, and it's slowed down, and it creates this really cool slow movement that looks really nice. And that's how you do it. And what I forgot to say before is if your footage was acting up or there was a ton of warp or something like that, then you need to change your frame rate to 7.5 and then try again. Yeah, and this is how we do Twixtor without any warp, and hopefully this video helped you, hopefully you learned something new, and have a great day, guys.